There's nobody left to fly the plane except Mark Wahlberg or Michelle Dockery or maybe Topher Grace. There's a lot going on up in the air in Flight Risk, the new movie from what's his name again?
You know.
The guy who directed Apocalypto and Braveheart. You'd never know from the trailers and the posters that this is a Mel Gibson movie. In tiny little letters, it's like, Mel Gibson.
From the award-winning director. Like, he's got an Oscar. Come on. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to go so far as say put some respect on his name, but like, can we not pretend that he's not involved with this film?
Y'all need a pilot?
Michelle Dockery is a U.S. Marshal, and Topher Grace is a mob accountant. She tracks him down to remote Alaska and has to get him back to New York for trial. That involves getting on a very rickety-looking plane flown by a very rickety-looking Mark Wahlberg, and nothing is quite as it seems. And will they make it to the ground alive? Will they make it to trial alive? There's a lot of complications and whatnot. This is an entertainingly dumb B movie. I had a good time watching it. It's ridiculous. Mark Wahlberg gives what might be his worst performance ever. But nonetheless, I found myself having a good time with it. It is lean and mean. It takes place almost entirely on that plane. At one point, I think I turned to you jokingly and I said, "Oh, it's like this is like Lock for drive-ins." You know, that whole movie that was just Tom Hardy driving the car. This is just them in the plane, some voices on the radio, but like they're just stuck in there. And I got to say, Gibson makes the most out of that claustrophobic space, the peril of they're flying. It's beautiful, vistas, but it's like also terrifying mountains that you do not want to crash into. And, we certain facts are revealed as we go along about who these characters are and what their past is and what they're doing now. I'm not going to say this is a great movie, but I will say it's a fun movie.
This is a fun premise.
Yeah.
I love the idea of this, that the three of them are stuck in midair in, as you say, this rickety plane, and no one is who they initially seem, and there are power dynamic shifts that are occurring. And this takes place almost in real time.
Yeah.
Like when Mark Wahlberg's pilot character says at the outset of their flight, "We should have you on the ground in Anchorage in about 90 minutes. I mean, the movie's about 90 minutes. There's a very, very quick little prelude there in the beginning, but it takes place almost in real time. And I really wanted to like this because it's a cool, gonzo B-movie premise. But the script is so terrible. The dialogue is so banal and puerile, and there are various forms of prison rape joke that occur in here, and various forms of "oh, I shit my pants" jokes, or "I piss myself," over and over and over again. It's stupider than it needs to be. The idea of this is dumb. It could be dumb fun, good disposable, escapist, throw your cares away, let's go see something mindless. But it's so unnecessarily crass. I wasn't offended by it, but I thought as an artistic choice, this is the best we can do. I don't know.
Here's the thing, ordinarily, yes, in a Mel Gibson movie, if there's a bunch of prison rape jokes, it'd be like, must we? But American cinema has proven itself over the years that you cannot have guys talking about going to prison without somebody making some joke about prison rape. I mean, seriously, go back and look at any movie. Bette Midler does it in, I don't even remember which movie now, but it just always happens. You can set your watch by it. It's
dropping the soap jokes.
Yes, it's like if somebody in a movie mentions asparagus, there's going to be a joke about pee within the next 45 seconds. So that doesn't even bother me anymore, just because I just know it's coming. I know we're going to do it. And in this case, the character saying it is not a character with whom we are supposed to identify or think is the hero, so there's that. I can't dispute it. This is a silly movie. The dialogue is kind of hokey, but there is something about the way that Dockery particularly commits to the bit here, and Topher Grace to a certain extent. And just like you said, the tension of it kind of unfolding in real time. I assumed that, I knew how this was going to end, but I didn't know how we were going to get there. And that alone is interesting enough, I think, to kind of keep me engaged and keep me involved with what's going on. Yeah. Wahlberg is terrible.
His hairpiece is terrible.
The hairpiece is intentional. Well, the hairpiece is terrible, but also the skin wig that does make him look bald is even worse than the.
That's what I mean. That's what's bad.
Yeah, awful. But like the performance is bad. It's so it is. He's going way too hard, and like I know he and Mel are buddies, but Mel Gibson should have been like, you know what? You're at an 11. Can you give me an 8? But no, they just kind of went with it, and it's too much, and it's too silly, and that is all wrong. Nonetheless, I had a really good time with this movie.
And I think that kind of villain is not a good fit for Mark Wahlberg. And maybe it might have been 20 years ago. But at this stage in his career, like, it just seems to deviate totally from what makes him in any way a compelling screen presence.
Well, think of it as if the character from Fear hadn't died.
Okay, so 30 years later, I guess. Yeah. There's a whole running bit that is so unnecessary and so clanged for me tonally with the pilot on the ground who is trying to like help the person at the controls.
Oh, see, I thought that was charming.
Oh my God, I thought that was so gross. And like skeevy and predatory. There's a whole like flirtation going on there with this person. And maybe it's like to present a sense of calm, but I thought this is how you do it. It seems so retrograde, like, hey, like nice ass. It felt weird to me.
To me, it felt like he was distracting her and trying to like keep her calm. It's like when a doctor like, points your direction somewhere else and you get an injection without realizing it's happening. Like, to me, it felt like he was trying to throw her off in terms of like, wait, this guy's flirting with me now, and then that was enough to sort of like defuse the tension that she was otherwise feeling, because it's all happening via the radio and he has no idea what she looks like. To me, it just felt like this is a thing he's doing to calm her down and distract her and keep her from like freaking out about the situation, not like he's being the lecherous boss chasing her around the desk, because they're in different places, So that was my read anyway. Like it was
gross. She doesn't want that in that moment. No, and it felt like it was forced upon her.
Obviously not, but I felt like it was a way for her to be like, wait, what, is this happening now? Like, I thought he was, it was kind of a psychological way to kind of just keep her not focused on the imminent peril, but potato.
Yeah, I thought it was gross. Anyway, she's a U.S. Marshal, so come on, as you would say, put some respect on that name. Come on now. All right, so what's your number then on flight risk? I'm gonna say like a 4.8.
I'm saying like a 6.8. Like it's a dumb movie and it's disposable, but I was entertained. It is very like, it is literally a B movie in terms of like, this is the kind of thing they used to put on the lower half of a double bill when there were double bills in theaters. So it's nothing special, but at least a couple people are trying.
We tried. You and I tried. That's all that matters. All right. Thanks. Let us know if you see it. Thanks.